left-hand side, you'll also see our post-production offices here on our lot. Now, there are three phases to a production. We have pre-production, we have the actual filming, and then we have post-production. Post-production is when we'll take all of that great footage that we got during filming and edit it all together so that you can watch it at home and on the big screen. And over on your right-hand side, a few more of those sound stages. These sound stages have been used to film TV shows like Never Have I Ever, starring by Trey Ramakrishnan from creator Mindy Kaling. They're also recently have been used to film the second season of Based on a True Story, which stars Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina, as they try and start a true crime podcast. If you haven't checked the show out yet, highly recommend it. Super, super fun. But also out on your right-hand side, you'll see my good friends, the Minions. And speaking of the Minions, we have the creator of Illumination, Chris Meledandri, to talk to you a little bit about the production bungalows coming up on your left.
In the early days of the studio, these bungalows were used as dressing rooms to the stars of Hollywood's golden age. Now, they're used as offices where some of Hollywood's top directors, writers, and producers work their magic to get a production ready, including my company, Illumination. At Illumination, we've made some of the most successful animated films in box office history, including Despicable Me, The Lorax, The Secret Life of Pets, Minions, Sing, The Grinch, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the team is hard at work again as we launch our next film, Despicable Me 4.
Hello, everybody. There's my boy.
I know you love your dada. What's it?
Yes, of course he loves you. He just doesn't show it on his face or with his body language.
We've had some really good sequences in Despicable Me movies. The heist of the Honey Badger is now officially my favorite. What it comes down to is the emotional through line. And I believe that that's why these movies have stayed in people's hearts.
And folks, out on your left-hand side, we're currently passing by those production bungalows that Chris was talking about. That is home to production companies like Mark Platt Productions, which is the production company bringing us the brand new Wicked movie coming out later this fall around Thanksgiving. It stars Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey of Bridgerton, and of course Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh starring as Madame Morrible. But continuing out on your left-hand side, you'll see two of our newest sound stages here on our lot. Sound stages 25 and 26. Now you may notice that these sound stages look a little different than the ones we were just passing by. And that's because these sound stages have offices and dressing rooms in the front and the sound stages over in the back. But inside of these sound stages, they film TV shows like Lopez versus Lopez, which stars George Lopez and his real-life daughter Mayan Lopez. They're also currently being used to film a brand new TV show coming soon to NBC called St. Denis Medical. It stars David Allen Greer. We're all very, very excited about it. It's going to be a workplace mockumentary that takes place in a hospital. It's coming from the same team behind Superstore. But these sound stages were first used back in 2016 for NBC's production of Hairspray Live. They started inside of those sound stages and then later transitioned over to our Metropolitan sets, which is where we are headed right now.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio and tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet suburbs, even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro Sets.
And folks, out on your right-hand side, we have some production happening out here today. They're doing a photo shoot out here. But also out on your right, you're going to see a little sneak peek of these sets for St. Denis Medical. So feel free to take a little photo before the show comes out later in the fall. But over on your right, where we have the production going on, is also where our Brownstone Street is. Brownstone Street you may recognize from films like Bruce Almighty, starring Jim Carrey. But as we leave Brownstone Street behind, we are now heading on into one of the most famous parts of our entire lot, our Courthouse Square. Now, you may recognize this set a little bit better as Hill Valley, California, from the movie Back to the Future.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
And they represented multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, in the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on Universal Studio Tour.
We had a lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Hey, everybody, do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour? See you in the future.
And folks, if you take a look out to your left-hand side, you'll notice that our City Hall is currently labeled as John Hancock High School for Ted Season 2. They use this area to look like a high school for Ted to go to. But these buildings that you see outside right now are not quite real buildings. These are mostly what we call facades. Facade is French for front. And in movie making, we do this thing where we only the camera needs to see. So since we don't need to see the insides of the actual building on screen, we don't actually build them. A lot of them just have beams holding them up inside. Sometimes we'll have staircases inside of these buildings as well, just in case we need to get up to a different level, fell outside of a window or something. We just want easy access to those things. But our metro sets, as you can tell, are also built to look a little bit like the concrete jungle, depending on where you are on our metro sets. But these sets are made mostly of chicken wire, plaster, and plywood. And that's so that they are malleable enough so that if we need to change them out for whatever reason, whether it's something as small as changing out the signage on a window or the color of a door, or something more extravagant like changing out the exteriors completely, we can do so with ease. Everything is very, very customizable. It's kind of like The Sims in that way. We can add things in and take things out of production's needs. So, for example, the street signs you see, street lamps, trees even, those are things we can put in and take out. And sometimes we even dig a hole right in the middle of our street.
When the Pinto fell and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. We dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago, not a good idea.
When people ask me all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying and the most fun, I've got to say Blues Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, and train with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because just he'd walk into anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing. We couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him. We saw a light on in this one house, knocked on the door.
I said, sir, we're doing a movie down here. We're looking for one of our actors. Oh, John, yeah, he's on my couch. He came in, he had a snack a couple hours ago. He's sleeping. He was America's Guest. I mean, literally that happened.
And folks, it looks like we are leaving our not-so-concrete jungle behind and heading on over to a different kind of jungle.
It's
We're
the
heading
original
back
King
to
Kong
Skull
that
Island.
made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up into adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Alrighty, folks, before we head back to Skull Island, just a few friendly safety reminders. Folks, please remember to remain seated with your arms and legs inside of the tram at all times. Hold on tight to those belongings as well. Hats, keys, sunglasses, big donuts, butter beers, regular beers, your cell phones especially. It gets very, very bumpy in here. And if you lose anything in here, I cannot get out of the tram. I make a lot of jokes on this tour. That is not one of them. Last but not least, folks, please no flash photography. King Kong hates the paparazzi. was King Kong 360 3D. You just survived Skull Island. That was brought to us by director Peter Jackson and the award-winning team over at Weta Effects on some of the largest 3D screens in the world. Weta Effects are the visual effects masterminds behind some of your favorite movies and TV shows, including The Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit films, Avatar, and Avatar: Way of Water, which is what they won their most recent Academy Award for. They've also worked on movies recently like Alien Romulus and TV shows like HBO's Game of Thrones, Disney's Obi-Wan, and the Max original series The Last of Us.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now folks, if you take a look out to your left-hand side, you're going to see there's this big old wall out here. This is the back side to a facade. Like I mentioned earlier, this is typically what a facade will look like out in the back. But coming up on your right-hand side is a very beautiful wall in comparison, in contrast to this one. And you're going to see our beautiful monster mural that was done by local artist Tristan Eaton. To tell you a little bit more about the mural as we're passing on by is the artist himself.
An instrumental part of the process of designing these murals was getting to go to the Universal Archive. Going there, I got to see in person props from the movies, photos from behind the scenes, original illustrations from those movie posters, all this stuff. I had an early affection for movie monsters. I was always fascinated by the magic behind making movies, but I fell in love with zombie movies and monster movies as a young kid. My world that I come from is skateboarding and graffiti and comic books. You always have to pay homage to where that art form started. And for me, it started painting stuff in the street illegally. Tagging billboards and dumpsters. Without that, I never would be here using spray paint like this.
And over on your left-hand side, folks, you're going to see this very large body of water. That is what we like to call our Hollywood Ocean. And our Hollywood Ocean has been used for quite a bit of filming over the years. We like to utilize every inch of our lot that we can. But across the way, you're going to see a few more of those great sound stages. Those sound stages are home to TV shows like The Voice.
Hey, Studio Tour. It's your boy Snoop Dogg. Did you know that the Universal Backlot is home of The Voice? That's right. We tape right here on Stage 31. Don't miss our incredible new season every Monday and Tuesday on NBC. Hello. Now that you've heard the rest, you can have the best. You can be with the S and have this on your chest.
Snape joins The Voice Monday, September 23rd on NBC and Peacock.
And folks, just up ahead, you're going to get a little glimpse of our Little Europe sets. They are currently closed off right now because they are getting ready to film a music video over there. But our Little Europe sets are home to the Universal Monster movie. All those great classic Universal monsters. Watch those series back in the day. But take a look at what our Little Europe sets look like back in the days of those original Universal Monster movies and what they look like in black and white.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out of that house. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. Are you ready?
Alrighty, well, I hate to pause a little montage, but it looks like we have a bit of a surprise for you. We are currently getting ready to head on into our Soundstage 50. They've been filming a brand new rom-com inside of these soundstages lately, but the cast and crew are done for the day, so we get to take a quick peek at their hot set. A hot set just means that they are currently using this for filming. But while we are in here, folks, please do me a huge favor. Please remember, once again, to remain seated with your arms and legs inside of our tram at all times, and hold on tight to those belongings. We don't need anybody to know that we've been snooping around in here. But as you take a look on out, you're going to see they have transformed the inside of the soundstage to look like a subway station in San Francisco. It's modeled after the park. Pretty cool. We also have a lot of their great equipment set up right now. So we have all of their cameras out in this corner. To your left, we have all right, no need to panic, everybody. Just a little California tremor, happens all the time. Congratulations, everybody. You just survived Earthquake, the big one. That attraction originally opened 35 years ago, back in 1989, and we have given it a complete Hollywood makeover, taking all the sets and props into the 21st century. Now, before we get too far, I do want to take a quick moment to let y'all know that we are approximately at the halfway mark of our tour. So just a friendly reminder to everyone to please remember to remain seated at all times. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull that red cord to get my attention, and I will be back to assist you. But please do remain seated on the tram. Now, folks, take a look at those practical effects that we just saw in action in the TV show Bones.
What's going on? Let's get out of here! A woman man just broke!
And folks, if you take a look out to your right-hand side, obviously you will notice that Jaws Lake is going under some refurbishment right now. But Jaws was actually not filmed out here in our Amity Island. Our Amity Island was used, however, as the small town of Cabot Cove for the TV show Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Our Amity Island has also been used for other TV shows over the years, including The Good Place. Chidi actually falls into the water out here. Well, when we had water, you know, we are in a drought, it's California. But this set has also been used for the TV show Community as well, starring Joel McHale, Alison Brie, Daniel Cudi, Donald Glover. I mean, such a great comedic cast. But we are getting ready to head on over to a different attraction right now. We're heading on over to our Old Mexico sets. And to welcome us on in Old Mexico is today's show co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather.
When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the backlot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Thank you so much, Al. Now, folks, we're going to be putting on a little rainstorm for y'all right now. We already have those thunder and lightning effects going. Now, all we need now is that rain. And action. Now we're adding in all these elements so that you'll be full rainstorm experience. However, thunder is something that we would typically add in post-production. That's because when we are filming a scene, we don't want anything that would drown out the voices of our actors. So therefore, we'll add it in after the fact. But I think that's enough rain for now. So on the count of 3, we're all gonna yell cut, okay? 1, 2, 3, cut. Huh. Let's try one more time, a little bit louder. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, cut. Huh, that's weird. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Cars 3 and 4, you might wanna watch out. That was our flash flood, everyone. It's been used in many movies, TV shows, even music videos over the years. Lady Gaga used that set for her music video Judas, but it was also used in the movie Big Fat Liar, starring Academy Award nominee Paul Giamatti, who was nominated this year for his work in The Holdovers. But you know what? Sometimes the road to the Oscars is through a flash flood. Just ask Paul.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that. Hang on, funny
And from out of old Mexico into the wild, wild west, we are now arriving here in our 6-point sets, y'all. Now, these are called our 6-point sets because back in the early days of our studio, we were able to film on 6 streets all at the same time. And that was because it was the silent film era. They weren't recording any noise at that time, no sound, no dialogue. So as many productions as possible could be going on at the same time, and there would be virtually no interference. In fact, a set back then was probably louder than a typical set is nowadays because everyone was trying so hard to yell over each other to make sure that their cast and crew could hear the instructions that they needed to know in order to film their scenes. But take a look on out to your left and your right hand side and do me a favor and look at some of these doors. You might be able to notice that some of these doors are very, very short and some of them are very, very tall. And that's for a very specific reason. So back in the days of our Western movies especially, we would put all of our cowboys, all of the men in front of the very, very short doors so that they would look even bigger, more tough, more macho. And then we would put all of the women in front of the very, very tall doors so that they would look more like damsels in distress. But our Western sets have been used for quite a few things over the years, including movies like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Miss Barbie herself, Margot Robbie. They were also used for HBO's Westworld. This was used as the town of Pariah. And you may have seen them most recently in Ty West's newest film, Maxine, which is the sequel to X and Pearl, starring Mia Goth. But out on your right-hand side, folks, you're going to see there's a whole lot of stuff sitting out here. Now, I know this looks a little bit like garbage, but I promise you it's not. These are all called props. A prop is essentially any object that an actor will interact with on screen, and that could be a whole number of things. This is just a few examples of what that might look like. A prop can also have many different uses that can help move the plot along. You can think in terms of Camelot. Excalibur is very important to the plot. But props can also just be used as set decoration in the backgrounds of scenes. Now, folks, I mentioned earlier in our tour that we are going to be going through a quiet zone. So we're going to be heading on into that quiet zone. I'm going to take myself off the mic and I'll be back in just a few moments. Alrighty, y'all. Well, we are out of that quiet zone. They're currently filming a commercial out in our Colonial Street, but we are also currently heading on up our Wilderness Road right now. So I do want to take a moment to let y'all know that we are about 15 minutes from the end of our tour, and we'll be returning to that theme park shortly. So remember to pull on that emergency cord if you need assistance and to remain seated at all times. But our Wilderness Road is called just that because it looks a little bit like the middle of nowhere, and it's been used as such in TV shows like Never Have I Ever. In the fourth and final season of Never Have I Ever, Davy and her friends get stranded out here on the way to prom with their limousine. Now, that limousine would be considered a picture car. A picture car is any vehicle that you see on screen. That could be a bus, a boat, a train, a car, even a tram. And speaking of picture cars, coming up on your left-hand side, you're about to spot a few of the picture cars from our collection, including one of our original Universal Studios tour glamour trams. This is what they used to look like back in the day. They could only hold 67 people. Obviously more than one of these, but you know what I mean. And out on your left as well, we have some of those vehicles from the Jurassic Park franchise, as well as some of those eco-friendly manpower vehicles from the Flintstones. We have some Fast and Furious cars, including Dominic Toretto's signature vehicle, and my very good friend Bumblebee. Hey Bumblebee, you look great today, buddy. You're getting your tan on? I love it. There's no sun, but you keep trying. And I feel like we should take Bumblebee's lead and focus on our own rest and relaxation over at the Bates Motel. This is one of my favorite spots. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like they are currently closed for construction. So we're going to axe this plan and we're going to head on over to Norman's house. Maybe he's hanging out up there. You're going to love his house. It's great.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
And out on your left-hand side, folks, is Norman Bates. Hey, Norman, we were just talking about you. We were wondering what the construction was down there. I saw a guy that was sleeping on the floor. He must have been really tired, so he's probably working hard on something. Is it a pool? I think a pool. Oh, no. Okay, well, good luck, Carrefour. And from one horrific scene to the next, we're now arriving onto the sets of Steven Spielberg's film War of the Worlds. So to tell you a little bit more about the production design behind War of the Worlds is director Steven Spielberg and production designer Rick Carter.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
You first began to sit down to talk about the War of the World. I thought, what if it's right? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Stand closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Now, Steven Spielberg is well known for many different things, but one of those things is his use of practical sets and effects. He loves to use things that are real and tangible for his actors to interact with. And another director who also loves to use practical sets and effects is director Jordan Peele. And we're actually getting ready to head on over to the sets of his film, Nope. We're heading on in to these sets of Jupiter's Plane. These are the real sets that they brought over here from the Santa Clarita Valley, which is just 34 minutes from where we are now. But to welcome us on is Mr. Jordan Peele himself.
Over there, look into the wing well. You can just look at that 90s
Remember